Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Question. What they got in there in terms of work for people?
The Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund is probably going to have, not that it would have an indirect, wouldn't have an indirect ability to participate in, and anything, by the way, in all of these funds that generates jobs is a plus. Let me be clear on that regard. This one, however, is not set aside as an economically driven jobs driver fund. Now here, I want to take your question, Commissioner Lockley, and illustrate my point earlier. If you have very specific project concepts that have strength and merit of the board, this is what they want to put forward, you're going to ultimately see the emergence finally at some point in time of the structure for the Triumph funds and others, which have direct association with those jobs development programs and others. That portal should contain your project having the potential to be funded there or through other means. You have Commerce's EDA funds and others that are looking into these same avenues of knowing what the county needs, why it needs it, and what its intent to support it is going forward. And that's really my point about not having just token projects that you would offer up, but things that have the real merit and strength of the board to get done.
And some of the money is gonna come out of Triumph too?
No, sir. I'm suggesting to you, Triumph will spend money,
Oh, okay.
and ultimately will need good project ideas,
Okay.
and you can't get started early enough to put those good project ideas in and get them
Right.
started and going in place.
Well, Mr. Chairman, how do we go about as a board making the determination of which projects that we?
Well, I would like to get a letter wrote if it's on the dredging part and get Michael to send it out, because we need East Fork Channel dredged yesterday. And see, if we can,
I think we have consensus on that.
yeah, because it needs dredging.
Mr. Chairman, if I may have one, Brian, in Allen's notes to me about this, he said that the board needs to understand that not all of the work on this type of project can be billed to restore?
That is correct. Now, in the Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund, they do look for some match. And so as a consequence to that looking for some match, I don't want to complicate this for the board, but this is where we're going to move very quickly into your MIAP development.
Okay.
And you have every potential, a lot of people do not recognize this, they have every potential to use your Restore Fund as local match. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you had a Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund that wanted to add 50% of this project but seeks to have you commit 50%, you could commit 50% the balance if that was a priority project in your MIAP to use your Restore funds. And
Even
again,
though we don't have it,
beg your pardon?
even though we don't have it, we can do it.
You have, so this, again, I don't want to overcomplicate this, but you have an allocation in there already. You'll have an annual increment that will be additive, obviously, each year, an accrual account. And our work with you is you'll develop a plan to draw down on that accrual account. And some of these projects are not going to happen like that. And you can pre-obligate the intent of those funds to be the match for these companion grant funds. And to be honest with you, that's precisely what you should do. That will magnify how much you get done with your Restore money, to use other people's money to help match it.
That do the same on the dredging part, is the matching?
Well, if for instance, the Environmental Benefit Fund chose to help you do that dredge, they will not cover 100%, so you would need matching
Yeah,
funds.
okay, I understand.
Because the
Yeah.
Corps is supposed to be putting some money into
Well, the
it.
Corps putting some, but we gotta put them out, but in the case of, he's speaking, if we could get that, that'll help us in having to put all the funds we got in it, that'd give us 50%, and we wouldn't have to put near the funds up that we gotta put up. We cut us less than over $1 million we get to save.
So, yes, sir.
Let's speak
Right.
about timetable though, because we meet again on the 21st. If we wait until then, you guys have barely over a week to do
No,
application?
We're not real happy about that either. So we would need some strong indication from you that you would want to employ us to get
Where
started.
does this letter have to go to?
Well, it's not a letter. You're actually going to.
I mean, yeah.
Abstracts have to be submitted electronically
I mean,
to the
I'm saying,
portal.
where do they have to go to?
They have to go digitally to the portal, the state DEP portal.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question too. You said that regional projects would receive higher points.
Yes, sir. They're looking for
Do you,
regionalization.
do you have any idea what Gulf and Wakulla counties will be doing? Are they doing bike paths? Are they doing?
They are doing bike paths. They are doing
The
reef
reef?
projects.
Reef
Yes, sir.
project.
And things like that. And I mean, and you just, I wouldn't suggest obviously in either regard, and by the way, we serve all those counties, but that you isolate any or all of that one way, but you can participate, you can cooperate and gain great attention on the part of the.
Is they doing
Those funds.
regional dredging?
Are they doing regional dredging?
Yeah.
I don't think they're that far along yet. But I hear you, sir. One of the things that, as we get rolling along with you, as you probably know from that question, one of the greatest costs that you have is the mobilization and demobilization of that dredge equipment. Most of your money is going there, or a lot of the times, a lot of your money is going there, and if you can keep it in field longer, you bring the actual price of those projects down and the performance up. So, that's another discussion, but cooperatively especially among the three counties, that regionalization approach ought to be looked at at least certainly from mechanics of getting the contract process going.
No, the reason I asked, they got that pole, I thought maybe they were gonna do some dredging to it.
No, not that I'm aware of. But again, I don't want to speak out of school, but as the projects, which they are not yet, as the projects mature and show themselves in the county, if the counties are seeing a lot of dredge and maintenance dredging, and considering how shallow draft these areas are, some serious consideration might be given on y'all's part to look at acquiring assets rather than not. We're doing similar review work in Pasco now because they have so much dredge work anticipated in the county. It would just be much more beneficial potentially for them to own the equipment than to have someone operate.
Are just billions of dollars of dredging need to be done over the state of Florida?
Yeah, and that's why several areas in the state of Florida actually have gone into acquisition and maintenance of their own equipment.
I seen that on the news the other night, the dredging down in Pasco up through the places
Right.
that was so filled in, and it's all the way up, and they're removing the old boats and stuff.
It's just business and looking for the most cost-effective means of getting it done.
So you're looking what, an indication of what projects they want to do, and of course, that we're going to get you guys to do the application.
So there's two things, and Commissioner Sanders, I listened very carefully to your discussion with the health program, so be very honest about this.
Thank
So
you, Brian. Somebody listen.
Yeah, I very much listened. Yeah, especially since you just signed a tighter termination clause with Treasury on it. But the point that I want to bring up is I don't want to bounce subjects. That termination clause is a result of 3 months review by Treasury on those two items. And think about that. So we're dealing with this one at a time from Treasury. The reason I'm bringing that up is you have the potential to be reimbursed by Treasury Restore for us to do this project development work for the portal for you. You also have the potential to not be reimbursed. And I just want to bring that out because their interpretations are one by one. And so the risk is yours. We're not talking about big money, but the risk would be potentially that it was not completely recoverable by Restore for us to work under task order on this for you. So two things to answer your question, Michael. We would need the development and execution of the task order to go to work for you, and two, to really get after it, because we don't have much time.
So we need an estimate of that cost.
Yeah, we could run that up very fast, get it back no later than tomorrow to Michael.
You have something to say, ma'am? Come, you have to step up here to the mic.
Cheryl, I think, mentioned derelict vessels. Would that be something that all three counties would be interested in?
Yeah, I mentioned that, the derelict vessels,
Yeah.
we're in the
Yeah.
process of trying to get it done.
Because that would,
It
might be a
used to be
good
funded,
project.
the derelict vessels used to be funded through FWC and
They
they
had
cut
10
out
of
the
them,
money.
they had
Yeah.
10 of them from Pensacola to Cedar Keys is all they put the money out for this year, is only 10 derelict vessels.
Yeah.
I know, we got 4 of them in the Caravel River.
You do, you do.
Yeah.
And it's
Do we
been
need
there
a,
forever.
is there consensus on the board that the project would be the dredging for East Point? And he could do some work on that. And I'd be interested to know what the other counties, as far as regional goes, that might have some impact on the decision that we make. Because I
Yeah.
think our application would be much stronger if we had regional projects. Bike paths might work, derelict vessels might work, reef. I mean, there's several good projects.
I know me, I'd like the East Point Channel be put on top, because if it goes another year or longer, they're not going out the East Point Channel.
I agree
I
with
went
that.
Oyster the other day, and we run aground, hitting the motor all the way out the channel.
Well, we was hoping that, that would be one of the state agencies' top priorities too, like through the NERDA and all that, and we haven't heard anything, so it's always been.
Would you want a motion to put that on the top of the list? I'll make that
Well,
motion.
good, wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, it's also, well, we can, if we make that motion, I want the Appalachian Channel to come in circle. You got the 2 mile channel out here.
Mhm.
It's the same way.
Yeah.
It's in the same way.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, have a motion, have a second.
Do what?
Put the East Point Channel and the channels up for dredging.
But we're not gonna be obligated no money yet, though, now.
No, it still,
Yeah.
it said put in part.
Except his fee.
I'll go ahead and second it, but we got East Point and, Creekmore.
Mile.
Creekmore, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
2 mile.
okay.
All right, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried.
Attorney, so that covers engaging them and the project list, as far as you're concerned?
I think that's the intent of the board that I just listened to.
Okay.
Well, what happened, now, since we made that, what happened if the state wanted to do this? What
They go
do?
ahead and do it, we just have to vote
Well,
back out. I
Now,
mean,
let me
we gotta
ask
do
y'all
it.
something. Let me ask you something. Alan has been having some talks with some of these people. Do we know what Alan has found out yet?
Basically, he did talk to, because I got his notes after the discussion he had with
We
Brian
believe-
and Steph.
We could probably
Yeah.
wait till the 21st to see what other regional projects we might be able to
Well,
respond
that's-
to.
I
If
mean-
that's, would give you enough time.
If I may recite to you what I think I heard is our task order
Yeah.
scope. So the 2 dredging, channel dredging projects for sure, and obviously buttoning them up to be ready for submission to the portal. Also, Commissioner Watson, to do a rapid review of your sister counties' work in the area of regionalization on bike paths, reefs, and anything else that might materialize
Derelict vessels.
in that review, and bring it back to you for the meeting on the 21st. We would do it in such a way as, should you liken to add any of those projects, we would get the abstract together before the July submission.
Fellow commissioners, does that make sense to do it that way?
Now, Commissioner Sanders, your obligation doesn't actually ever occur until you're ready to sign at the table.
Okay.
You can really bait this process, for lack of better terms, about any way you want to.
Well, it's all about the money, and I'm still, I mean, you've sat in the meetings where I've sat in the meetings, and I'm just concerned. I don't wanna obligate the county for anything without a full board here too, because Commissioner Parrish may have some ideas also, and, I'm very reluctant to, anyway.
This is our wish list. basically.
By the 21st, as long as we weren't starting on the 21st and circling back on the 21st to give you an update on where we are, we would have time, we would make time. We'll have time to cover Commissioner Parrish's priority if we have left it out.
Okay. Do we need any motions to accomplish that? Are we done?
Well,
We done a motion, I
We
saw.
already had a motion and a second to
Yeah.
vote,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
Yeah, we've already-
I don't think any further action of the board.
Yeah.
I think the board's actions adequately covers
Yes.
the two categories that Brian had just listed for you, including his potentially reimbursable fee.
Correct. Thank you all,
Thank you,
Commissioners.
sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. Have a good day. Oh, what was that?
Show me the money.
Michael, we like about 2 minutes before we got to tell, but we're not gonna have the hearing, so we need to tell them. Tell them we're not gonna have the, public hearing, and then,
Oh, it is that.
then we're just not gonna, we're gonna have it the next meeting, the parish is back.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite 11 o'clock yet.
Let's right at it.
Yeah, 2 minutes till.
Do we take a break for 2 minutes, or?
That's up to Jerry.
Yeah, we,
If you don't mind, I do have another subject that I can quickly get out there and done.
go ahead for 2 minutes is all you got.
Okay, good, thank you. I think I can do this in 2 minutes. I'm going to ask the board at the end of this to recommend to Mr. Schuler.
Your name for the record?
Richard Fravel, Lanark Village, Florida. First, our Lanark Village's condolences to Commissioner Parrish on his loss. It's an awful thing. Summertime is here, school's out. Last commissioner meeting, I spoke to you about the need for some sort of air gun ordinance in our planning area, in our zoning area, because of juveniles going around shooting in our close confines of our pocket community. And today, we've got some families out there that do not supervise their children. We got a gang of little children running around on bicycles. The sheriff's well-known, the sheriff's department knows them well. And the parents just do not supervise, nor do they care about their children and the life that, to what they're doing. These children run around the neighborhood. They're testing the limits of civility. They're testing the limits of the law, curfews and the like. We've really had a bad problem with them. So I spoke at the last meeting about getting an air gun prohibition ordinance singled out for our particular closed community. Michael said he had to look into Florida firearm laws to be sure that that's not a conflict. And he's already spoken and conveyed to me that it is indeed not a conflict with Florida air gun or firearm laws. So I'm asking the board, if he will, is to instruct Michael to draw us up an ordinance for your consideration prohibiting the discharge of air guns, BB guns, and slingshots and the like. These kids are running wild around here, and we just need some muscle behind us so that the next time we call the police about children discharging BB guns in our neighborhood, the sheriff's department can actually do something about it. Thank you, board.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you do that, look at an ordinance regulating air guns in Lanark Village?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Okay, that's my motion, to direct the attorney to look at that.
Second.
Yeah, 'cause they plucked a squirrel out of my tree the other day.
We can have
Not
an
so
order,
bad.
question, we can have an ordinance, this might be directed to Attorney Schuler, that applies just to a part of the county? Or it has to be a countywide?
I think the request and the action of the board, although the board does not act, but where you're headed is just for a specific ordinance just for Lanark. The board certainly has the
Yeah.
discretion
City
either to
of
make it.
Carabel has one, I think,
City
Michael.
of Carabel.
And I think probably City of Appalachia's got one for an air rifles inside of their city limits.
City of Carabel, I know
I mean,
has one.
Yeah, the city's got, Carabel has one.
But it would be at the board's discretion whether you wanted to make the ordinance countywide for all of the unincorporated areas of the county or limit it just to Lanark. I think, given there's a unique zoning category just for Lanark because of the nature of the construction, when it was built, how it was built, it's very cramped and close quarters. So I think you certainly would have the justification to create an ordinance banning those air guns and I think you mentioned slingshots.
Under the special district.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
But unless I hear otherwise from the board, I'm considering this to be limited just to land art.
You need a motion and a second on that, Michael?
Yes, sir, I need more direction to draft the ordinance and
I've
bring it
already
back.
did the motion, Mr. Rick did the
You do
second.
second? All right, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried. It's time for the, we're gonna have the public hearings on the, trash and the animal. We're gonna have to wait till the next meeting till Commissioner
Commissioner-
Parrish gets back.
I was gonna explain, I mean, as unfortunate as the situation is with Commissioner's family and the grief that they're feeling what they're going through, unfortunately, it affects our agenda, and we do not have a full sitting board to address the litter control and animal control ordinance. And I know it seems like we put it off before, we have to do it
Well,
again.
Mr.
It's-
Smokey wanted to speak on some of it. Because
Yes.
the last time he had spoke on some of it, he would rather.
Especially, I know he has an interest in the litter control, and I think
Yeah.
somewhat the animal control too. And it's an unfortunate situation, but it's out of our control.
It's out of our control. We're just gonna have to wait. I hate it
So,
cause he drove.
I wanted
But he
to-
did get his air rifle coming over.
So I wanted to, before Attorney Schuler would have to go through the re-advertising again and so forth, if that is the board's wishes. But it is our practice, if we, on ordinances that covers the entire county, if we do not have a full sitting board, we do not proceed.
The policy.
Yeah, that's the policy. So we'll just wait till the next meeting.
We would need a motion and a second to table this and authorize me to re-advertise.
Motion to table.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to table to the next meeting. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
And we apologize.
I
to the public,
apologize
but
to y'all, but that's, just have to wait till the
it was
next meeting.
a tragic
And just
situation.
For the board's information, I don't think I can logistically get this advertised in time for the next meeting. It will probably be the first meeting in
In
July.
July.
If you remember, I can't advertise this week. I can't advertise it for the first time until Thursday the following week, and I have to have a 10-day publication period. It's impossible
Okay.
for me to get this back before the first meeting in July.
First meeting in July?
Yes, sir, I
Okay,
can do
first
that.
meeting in July.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we apologize, but it's beyond our control.
Well, since I almost had the floor, would the board be inclined to allow me to present? I only have one item on my report, which is the resolution of the notice of intent for the board to consider adopting an ordinance to increase the gas tax from 5 cents to 6 cents. I know we don't have a full board, but in order for you to get this done this year, so you can start collecting the tax next year, your statutory deadline is June the 10th. You've already tabled this once because Commissioner Parrish was absent at the last meeting for health reasons, and we deferred this resolution until this meeting. But let me assure the board, you're not adopting anything. This is just, other than a resolution of intent to schedule a future public hearing to consider the adoption of an ordinance. The proposed draft ordinance is attached to the resolution, which you are not adopting the ordinance today. You're just adopting a resolution that has to be adopted by the statutory deadline of June the 10th. So my recommendation is that you at least adopt the resolution, and then there will be an ordinance scheduled at some point later in the year, prior to October the 1st.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Is
Commissioner.
that the last one you got?
That is, unless you have any questions for me on the draft bear ordinance that I've submitted to you. If the board is satisfied with that draft, you can authorize me to schedule a future public hearing. If you would like to take that under further consideration and take action on it the next meeting, we can do that at the June 21st meeting. Board
We'll
discretion.
just take action on it next meeting.
All right, so that's it.
Mr. Michael Morone?
Yes, sir. Item 1, board action to approve a change order for the Rehabilitate Airfield Pavement Project at the airport. The total cost of the change order is $51,578, which would bring the total contract price to $905,934.73. Grant funds are available for this change order. The change order involves replacing some of the Class V RCP pipe, the granular pipe bedding, and the replacement of a new rotating beacon that has reached the end of its useful life. Board action.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Inform the board that Mr. Mark Urington met with FDOT regarding their 5-year plan. FDOT has asked that the board provide a wish list of future projects by the first week in August. These projects can be anything related to transportation, such as road repaving, sidewalks, airport, etc. FDOT is not asking for us to provide engineering or cost estimates at this time, but would like the projects in priority. Prioritize. Board discussion.
Any discussion?
Question?
Yes, sir.
How do we go about developing that list? Each commissioner for the district, and then we come together? Or how-
Usually, Commissioner, you guys bring your projects, and then the next meeting, I bring this back up and we discuss it, and we try to sort it out and a list of,
Okay.
create a list of projects, in priority as the way you guys would want it. That's how we usually do it.
Okay.
Can we get in this in the city limits?
I would have to verify with Mark to figure out if we could.
I don't think
I
so.
hear you, Commissioner.
Nice try.
So what you want to know, if you can get it. So Commissioner, you want if you can get any projects done in the city limit?
Yeah.
Okay,
City Appalachian Caribbean.
okay. I will, and I'll put this on at the next meeting, we'll discuss it further. Item 3, board action to appoint a board representative to the Small County Coalition. There's a vacant position since Ms. Jacqueline is no longer county commissioner. I've asked the clerk's office to review the minutes, and Ms. Hines couldn't find any action by the board where you filled the vacancy.
I thought we did we. I thought we did you. We didn't do you, Mr. Noble? Well, we need to do somebody.
We,
I'm on there, so.
You're already there?
I'm
I'd
on
be
One
happy
more.
to serve.
well, I make a motion. One of you?
Okay.
Oh.
Second.
Okay.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, also add yourself instead of Alan, add
Oh,
yourself to
yes.
the list. Because we've still got Alan down there.
I've been up 4 years. Y'all can have.
Item 4, board action to reappoint Ms. I'm sorry, we did, okay, Ms. Carol Barfield to serve on Capital Area Community Action Board of Directors. This term would be from November 2016 to November 2017. A letter from Capital Area Agency Action Executive Director, Mr. Tim Center, recommending Ms. Barfield's reappointment is attached. And it's because of their relationship with DEO, now DEO wants them to get their appointments in long before they expire.
Okay.
So that's why we're doing it now.
So move, if she
Second.
want it.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Board action to authorize the chairman's signature on an agreement with Doug Schuler to oversee the Carabel Beach Park and St. George Island bathroom renovation projects. The cost of this agreement shall not exceed $6,000 for both projects. Mr. Schuler designed the plans for both bathrooms. Attorney Schuler will review the agreement before the chairman signs it.
Oh, I got a question,
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
$6,000 for both bathrooms?
To oversee the project.
Oh, to oversee the project?
Yes, he'll do all the pre-bid conferences, the inspections, and any questions they
Okay,
have
so he's
because he
gonna
did the
do
design.
everything.
Everything from A to Z.
But that's not gonna be the total cost of renovations
No,
for the
no,
bathroom?
no,
No, he just gonna
I just
oversee
wanted to
it.
make
Not-
sure.
Not at all.
Because it sound, the way it's written, it sounds like, oh, we're only gonna spend $6,000.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I was
per
referring to
ba-
his
you know,
agreement,
both
no.
bathrooms.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
6,000
oh,
is a
no.
combination, because basically he does his inspections for both projects in the same day, his pre-bid conferences will be in the same day.
Well, I was gonna say, whoever he is, I wanna get him, because I need some renovations too for
Yeah.
that cheap.
Oh, no, this is just for his agreement to oversee the projects, Commissioner.
Question, Mr. Chairman, is that standard, to hire someone to oversee? That's not
Yeah,
something
most-
county employees do?
Yeah.
Most likely, because if there's a question about the design, he did design, so even if staff is running it, we still gotta go
Gotcha.
back to him and confer with him, on the project or what's going on, or bring him in to look at any questions or inspections that we have to do.
And those funds come out of the TDC appropriation, okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
Motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, we already did number 6. Number 7, Wakulla County Commissioner Ralph Thomas asked that the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners support a resolution that would request that Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission suspend Rule 68B 4.008, Section D, limiting net size to 2-inch mesh for restricted species endorsement licenses.
I just talked with Donnie Nichols, the fisherman of Franklin County. He said he was, us to go forward with it.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 8, remind the board that the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission meeting will be on Wednesday, June 22nd, at the Franklin County District Consolidated School in East Point. The chairman has been invited to be recognized at the start of the meeting. If anybody else wants to attend or bring up any other items, that's where they'll be. And it's at the school, of course, because we know the bear hunting situation, they're expecting a whole lot of protesters. So they have to have staging areas for them, and it's, anyway. Item number 9,
I want
inform.
that bear hunt to start in District 3. We spotting them up there.
I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna make just a quick comment on this. It doesn't matter whether you're pro or against. I'm not receiving the bear complaints like I used to. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm not receiving it. So something's going on. I mean, because it was at one point that our phone was ringing off the hook 2 and 3 and 4 times a day with somebody. And so just recently, the bears have started coming out because the mama bears just had the babies.
Oh, that's, because I was trying to, I thought it would have been too hot for them, but,
Well, they have babies anytime they get.
I'm sorry, yes, yes. Yeah, I had that,
It's not too hot or no, too cold for them. When they gotta have those babies, they gotta have them.
I had
But,
that bird and the bees speech too, okay. But we have been getting some reports in Commissioner Lockle's district, 10th Street,
with bears,
yes.
y'all had any confrontations with them yet?
No, they just called me and said they spotted some. It was in the latest.
And every call we get, I forward to FWC.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they're
That's
aware.
what y'all doing.
That's why I said I want the hunt to start up there.